On Monday afternoon, February 24, 2026, two vehicles stopped at a red light in Omaha, Nebraska, and dropped straight into the earth. The entire collapse took less than 10 seconds. A security camera mounted on the University of Nebraska Omaha campus recorded every frame. Within 24 hours, the footage had been broadcast on every major American television network, shared widely across social media, and picked up by outlets as far away as Al Jazeera and CTV News in Canada. But here is the detail that tells the real story. The sinkhole was not caused by an earthquake. It was not caused by a natural disaster. City engineers believe it was caused by a leaking water main that had been quietly washing away the soil beneath a busy intersection for weeks, possibly months, while thousands of cars drove over it every single day. To understand how a 50-foot wide crater opened beneath one of Omaha's busiest corridors, you have to look at what was happening underground long before anyone noticed. The intersection of 67th and Pacific Street sits in the Aksarben neighborhood, one of the most heavily trafficked areas in the city. It borders the University of Nebraska Omaha campus. Restaurants, apartments, and commercial buildings line Pacific Street. On that Monday, at approximately 3:30 in the afternoon, a maroon Jeep SUV and a silver Dodge Ram pickup truck rolled to a stop at a red light on westbound Pacific Street. A third vehicle pulled up behind them. Then two full lanes of pavement buckled and collapsed, dropping both vehicles several feet into a void that had been growing beneath the road surface. Other cars at the intersection missed the hole by a matter of feet. 3 separate cameras captured the collapse from different angles. The university's security camera provided the wide shot that would go viral. A traffic camera offered a second perspective. A nearby parking garage camera recorded the aftermath, including bystanders running toward the danger. Local NBC affiliate WOWT broke the story within the hour. The Omaha Police Department posted photos and video to Facebook and X. By the next morning, the clip was everywhere. And then it got worse. Before emergency crews could arrive, bystanders watching from the sidewalk sprinted toward the collapsing road. The pickup driver managed to climb out of the sinkhole on his own, then joined other bystanders who helped the Jeep driver out of the hole. Others directed traffic and warned approaching motorists to stay back. Omaha Police Lieutenant Dan Martin arrived to find both drivers already on solid ground. Neither reported injuries. The officer told reporters that what he saw caught everybody by surprise. Police Chief Todd Schmaderer praised the civilian response, and Department spokeswoman Officer Sarah Martier said they were grateful to those who jumped into action and quickly provided help. By 5:35 that evening, a heavy-duty tow truck with a crane pulled the Dodge Ram from the hole, and the Jeep followed roughly 10 minutes later. Crews worked through the night removing broken concrete. Pacific Street was shut down in both directions between 66th and 69th Streets. But here is the problem that almost no one is talking about. Omaha is not supposed to have sinkholes. The catastrophic collapses that regularly swallow homes and highways in Florida, Texas, and Kentucky happen because acidic groundwater slowly dissolves limestone bedrock over thousands of years, creating hidden cavities that eventually give way. Nebraska's geology is fundamentally different. The city sits on deep deposits of loess, which is wind-blown silt, along with glacial till and alluvial sediments. Natural dissolution sinkholes are extraordinarily rare here. What happened at 67th and Pacific was not geology, it was infrastructure. At a press conference the following day, Omaha City Engineer Austin Rouser revealed the full dimensions of the hole. It measured 30 feet long, 50 feet wide, and 10 to 15 feet deep beneath the pavement. The underground void extended even further than the visible opening. A cavity was already forming beneath the adjacent sidewalk. Rouser identified the cause as a pressurized water main buried roughly 4 to 6 feet below the road's surface. He explained that based on the size and condition of the void, a pressurized water source had been scouring soil from beneath the pavement and carrying it into the storm sewer system for some time. The storm sewer had enough capacity to absorb the leaking water without any visible sign reaching the surface. That is why nobody knew the ground was hollowing out beneath them. The Metropolitan Utilities District, the agency that operates Omaha's water system, sharply disagreed. In a statement released the same day, they said it was too early to attribute the cause to any single source without a full analysis. A district worker at the scene on the day of the collapse had told local reporters that the water main broke after the cars fell through, not before. The utility argued that the collapsing concrete panels fractured the pipe on the way down. The city said the pipe caused the collapse. The utility said the collapse broke the pipe. As of February 26, that dispute remained unresolved. Two forces had been tightening around that intersection at the same time. The pipes beneath Omaha were aging past the point of reliability, and the traffic above them was increasing every year. Omaha's water system contains roughly 1,266 miles of cast iron water mains. Some of those pipes date to the late 1800s, predating the Metropolitan Utilities District itself, which was created by the Nebraska State Legislature in 1921. Many of the oldest pipes were actually built thicker than modern standards. But replacements installed in the middle of the 20th century were paradoxically thinner because iron was diverted for weapons production during both world wars. The result is a patchwork of pipes spanning more than a century of manufacturing standards buried beneath a modern city. The numbers paint a clear picture. The district recorded 641 water main breaks in 2023. That dropped 7% to 598 breaks in 2024, the first decline since 2020. But that still amounts to more than one break every single day across the system. Each repair costs an average of $14,000. And Omaha had already been warned. In 2024, a 24-inch transmission water main ruptured near 64th and Center Street, just blocks from the Sinkhole site, closing Center Street for 6 full weeks. In February 2025, an 8-inch cast iron main installed in 1925, exactly 100 years earlier, burst on Pacific Street itself, 9 blocks to the west. The utility attributed that break to corrosion. The district had launched a long-term infrastructure replacement program back in 2008, funded by ratepayer surcharges, with the goal of eventually replacing all 1,266 miles of cast iron water mains and 561 miles of cast iron gas mains. But the breaks kept coming faster than the replacements could keep up. One eyewitness at the 67th and Pacific collapse offered a detail that captured the absurdity of the moment. Tyler Daniel, a University of Nebraska Omaha student majoring in emergency management, was riding the campus shuttle past the intersection when he heard the collapse. He had been working on a class assignment about sinkholes. He told reporters he looked back and saw the cars sitting inside the hole, and it was just shocking. To understand why this matters beyond Omaha, you have to look at what is happening beneath streets across the entire country. The United States experiences approximately 240,000 water main breaks every year. That works out to roughly 1 every 2 minutes. These breaks cost an estimated $2.6 billion annually in direct repairs alone, not counting property damage, business disruption, or the sinkholes that some of them create. Approximately 6 billion gallons of treated drinking water are lost to leaks every single day. A comprehensive 2023 study by Utah State University found that 33% of all water mains in the United States, roughly 770,000 miles of pipe, are more than 50 years old. Nearly 20% have already exceeded their useful life, but remain in service because replacement funding does not exist. Cast iron, the same material used in Omaha's oldest mains, has the highest break rate of any pipe material in the study. The American Society of Civil Engineers released its 2025 infrastructure report card and gave the nation's drinking water systems a grade of C-. Wastewater received a D+. Stormwater received a D, tied for the lowest grade of any infrastructure category. The Environmental Protection Agency has estimated that $625 billion is needed over the next 20 years for drinking water infrastructure alone. A separate assessment found $630 billion needed for wastewater and stormwater. Combined, America faces a $1.2 trillion water infrastructure bill, and current funding covers only a fraction of that total. Omaha's sinkhole left no one dead and no one injured, but that outcome is not guaranteed the next time. On February 28, 2013, in the town of Seffner, Florida, a 36-year-old man named Jeff Bush was asleep in his bedroom when the earth opened beneath his bed at approximately 11 at night. His brother Jeremy heard screaming, ran to the room, and found a massive void where the bedroom floor had been. The bed, the dresser, everything was gone. Jeremy jumped into the hole and dug with his bare hands. He could hear his brother calling for help. A sheriff's deputy had to pull Jeremy out as the ground continued to give way. The sinkhole grew to roughly 30 feet across and was estimated to be up to 60 feet deep or more. Jeff Bush's body was never recovered. Engineers declared the ground too unstable for recovery operations. The home and 2 neighboring houses were demolished, and the hole was filled with gravel. It became his unmarked grave. That same sinkhole reopened in August 2015 and again in July 2023. On February 12, 2014, the floor of the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky collapsed into a prehistoric cave at 5:38 in the morning, creating a hole 40 feet wide, 60 feet long, and roughly 30 feet deep. 8 irreplaceable Corvettes plunged underground. 5 were recovered within 2 weeks. The museum turned disaster into a tourist attraction, and attendance increased 67% by 2019. Lieutenant Dan Martin of the Omaha Police warned reporters after the 67th and Pacific collapse that the sinkhole could expand. City engineer Rouser confirmed that the void might be connected to additional underground cavities through small channels. His team was still mapping the full extent of the damage beneath the road as of February 26. No repair timeline had been announced. Hydrogeologist Laura Torin of Temple University has studied urban sinkholes across the country. She has explained that sinkholes in American cities happen where pipes leak and surrounding soil gets washed away, and that because the nation has an extensive aging water network, these collapses are becoming more common. The United States Geological Survey confirms there is no national database tracking sinkhole events. No federal agency is counting how many open each year or where they occur. Pacific Street remains closed between 66th and 69th Streets. The city and the Metropolitan Utilities District are still disputing who bears responsibility. The 1,266 miles of cast iron pipe beneath Omaha are still in the ground. And across America, 240,000 water mains will break again this year beneath roads that look perfectly stable from the surface. The footage from 67th and Pacific showed 2 drivers who stopped at a red light on what appeared to be solid pavement and fell into a void that had been growing beneath them in silence. The only reason anyone saw it happen is that a university security camera happened to be pointed at that intersection at that moment. The question no engineer in Omaha or anywhere else can answer is how many other intersections are sitting on top of voids that no camera is watching.